Hey everybody, this is GGB, and we're going to get into the one Friday college football game we have today that is of any playoff significance at all. And we have possibly an elimination game. We had an elimination game last night. Virginia Tech was eliminated from playoff contention, if you did not know, last night. Against West Virginia. West Virginia knocked them out, and now the Virginia Tech Hokies are 2-2. I think I still have to do their game next week, though, because I think they play UNC, but I'm not positive. But today, 7 o'clock, we got Virginia in an elimination game. Virginia was just 2-1, almost was eliminated last week. Had to absolutely have a thriller against Old Dominion to win that game. Traveling to Syracuse, which is 3-0, and Syracuse is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest surprises of the year. Now, there's an argument to be made. Kansas is a huge surprise, them being good. I think there's an argument made Duke is a huge surprise, but Duke has had and while it's very impressive that they're 3-0, they've had pretty easy schedule up until this point. And Kansas hasn't had the hardest schedule in the world either. They have a very impressive win against Houston, impressive win against West Virginia. But the Q's has looked great, like downright dominant through 3 games. Absolutely dominated Louisville. And then not to mention the absolute thriller against Purdue last week. And Purdue's a good football team. This isn't like Duke beating Northwestern or Kansas beating a Houston team that's struggling right now, or a West Virginia team that is, it's not that great. It's not the greatest team in the world. Like, this was a Purdue team that looked downright like a Big Ten West contender. And Syracuse won that game. At home, to be sure. But that was a tough game. It was a very losable football game. And Syracuse went out and won it. This is a different Syracuse team than as in the past. If they win this game, they should beat Wagner. And they should be 5-0 heading into that that could actually be a huge game against NC State after coming out of a bye. So that's a game everyone should mark in their calendars if Syracuse wins this football game. By the way, Syracuse favored by 9.5 points on ESPN. Brennan Armstrong, the quarterback for Virginia, has gone 54-102, thrown for 710 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Paris Jones on the ground has had 37 carries for 186 yards and a touchdown. And Keaton Thompson, I don't know how to pronounce his name, sorry, 18 catches for 235 yards. But for Syracuse, on the other hand, Garrett Schrader, the quarterback, has gone 51-77, thrown for 709 yards, 8 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. He has not made many mistakes. Sean Tucker, I hardly know her, has had 66 carries for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Orond Gadsden, the second, has had 12 catches for 193 yards and 3 touchdowns. Virginia leads the series 3-2 all time. Last 3 games have gone to Virginia from 2004 to 2015. Last Syracuse victory was actually in 1977, so it's been a while since Syracuse has won the matchup between these two teams. But I think this game is a possibility of being really kind of interesting, right? Virginia is playing for their playoff hopes, I guess, but like in more realistic terms, this is a big chance to get an ACC victory. All eyes are going to be on you, that's anyone who wants to watch college football, because let's be honest, Syracuse is probably the most interesting team on Friday. Not a lot of people are tuning into Nevada, Utah State, but so this is Virginia's chance to, number one, make a big have a big game on the national stage. And number 2 is chance. That's a winnable football game for Virginia, and in a team that wants to compete, ACC Coastal, I think, division. ACC always messes me up because it's not East and West or North and South like the Pac-12. It's a Coastal and Atlantic, and it's so freaking confusing. Which is on which side? But like they're on a winnable side this year. Miami's probably the strongest team on that side. It's the only ranked team on that side. Actually, that's not true. Pitt's also there. But they're on a very winnable side of the ACC this year. This is a chance for Virginia to pick up a huge victory on the road. This is a winnable football game for the Cavaliers. On the other hand, this is Syracuse's chance to prove that they are for real. They kind of did last week against Purdue. This is their first chance against a real solid team in the ACC. Louisville's meh. It's not the greatest team in the world. And it's not exactly a world beater. This is Syracuse's chance to make an actual statement in a big game. They're on a tough side of the conference this year. Clemson, NC State, Wake Forest all look good. Florida State looks a little bit underrated to start the year. Syracuse is going to be on a tough side. If they want to win that side of the ACC, they're going to have to play out of their freaking minds. And this is a chance to get a big This is a very winnable football game for Syracuse at home, and I think Syracuse wins, but I do think Virginia covers, and I think this is a close game.